Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and go over my everyday carry kit, and yeah, so on the left here, this is not what I carry with me all the time. It's what I reach for, but on this side is actually what I carry, and this is actually pretty much what I carry. So the first thing is obviously my cell phone. The thing that I carry is some sort of flashlight that's really tiny. So it's usually something like this, or it's something like this, where I don't carry a large flashlight, just a small one. And the wallet I have is a Chums wallet. I'm back to the Chums. This is a $9 wallet that is just like, it's such a good wallet. It's so minimalist and small. And it's just, I'm not going to open it up, but it can open up super wide, and you can, like, if you need to. So it's just a really versatile wallet. The next is, this is always on me. This is always on my keychain. These two are always on my keychain. This is the Victorinox Rambler. This is my favorite multi-tool of all time. In my opinion, this is the best keychain like multi-tool. So what you get is really good scissors. You get a Phillips screwdriver. This works magically on like a lot of things. I swear to goodness. Let's get to the point. Okay, so this is what I don't carry this. This is what I reach for when I need it, but it's near me. It's always near me. Some variant of this is near me. Now, the things do change. Some things do change, but they pretty much, it's the same sort of deal. So, so the first is, so this is the Big Idea Design Bit Bar version 2. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I bought this yesterday, right? So it's kind of like, it's a little bit strange to make a video on something I just bought yesterday, but it's the same concept. I always have some sort of bit driver. And I like this because this just looks freaking nice, man. Anyway, but you have access to all your bits here. And what they did differently this time is that there's a corner extension here. So you can get a lot more torque now. That's a lot better than their first version. Their first version only gave you this in the front, and that was it. So I just think this is just super useful, and I really like that. Now, kind of what I was saying, I usually have some sort of variant of a bit driver. So if I didn't have that, what would I use instead? Well, I usually would use this right here. This is a Wera Rapidator, and this is a Topeak driver. So basically, if I needed an extension, I use this as an extension. And if I need to basically use this as a ratchet driver, I can do it this way. But for right now, I'm using this because I really love the way it looks in terms of aesthetics. The second item here, this is just the Fisher Space Pen. But what I've done is actually, I've taken out the cartridge out of here and I've added my own. Let's do a quick demonstration here. But it writes totally different. Like a Fisher Space Pen would not be able to do this. So there's that. But I like the Fisher Space Pen because of the way it looks. I like it's matte black, it's compact, and it looks nice. The next item here, this is just a mini Sharpie. Like I don't really have much space for a larger Sharpie, so there's that. The next is just a small, it's like a pocket knife. So this is the Quiet Carry IQ Elmax. So basically, this is what I like about this is that it's quick draw, and also it is a it's locking, right? So because although I do like Victorinox knives, they are not locking, or at least not the ones I have. But I actually really like the design of this. It's a very unique look. I guess it's not like most brutish kind of knives that I see out there. So I really like the way it looks. So this is just a measuring tape, just really handy when I need to just get measurements done. This is okay. So now I got to talk about something different. So remember I was saying that, this is my favorite multi-tool, like keychain multi-tool, the Victorinox Rambler. So I was actually asking online, and I was trying to get some research, and I was asking, like, what is the best Swiss Army knife that pairs well with this particular multi-tool? And like unanimously, they're like, you need to get this. This is the Alox Pioneer X. You've got to get this. This is Batman and Robin. They work together, and I bought it, and oh my god, like this is such a good combination. So I'll kind of explain how and why this is like such a great combination. So this is a large knife. So this doesn't have a large knife. This has a small knife. So that's the first key difference. This has larger scissors. So if I ever need to get larger scissors, you have larger scissors here. And you would think, what? There's the same tools. Like, that's not really helpful. No, but no, it is, because this solves problems that this can't solve. So if you need something that needs larger scissors, you have larger scissors. So that's really cool. The other thing that's really cool here is this is kind of actually, I didn't even think about this. So the way the tools are set on this side, they complement each other really well. So this is a small flathead. That's a large flathead. This is a Phillips, and this is a large, like even larger flathead. So you actually have a lot of screws covered when you use both of these together. So I think that's really awesome. And another thing that I thought was actually an unexpected, awesome kind of thing, but as I was reading online and reading what people were saying,
this difference here, as you can see, the Alox is exactly the same profile, but is a little bit bigger.
One thing about the flat driver, the large flat driver, also doubles as a pry tool, by the way. And this one, even more so than its regular Victorinox counterparts, because it is built a little bit thicker.
This is also quite a bit more robust.
Which is super useful. It's actually stronger and stouter than the standard solid ore Victorinox.
It is a slightly larger, and it's also thicker.
Dude, this has an amazing pry tool because, so the thing is with Alox or Alox, these are actually, the scales are actually tougher, and the steel, like the way it's built, is actually bigger and tougher than standard. That's why they say, like, if you want your Victorinox to be more like, to deal with more harsher and more tougher things, get the Alox version. In other words, even though this is like just a standard shell, it's not just the shell that's different, it's thicker and much more robust. So if you ever needed to pry something, this will get the job done. And they're like, there's tons of like comments saying like, dude, the Victorinox Alox are indestructible. They're indestructible. They're indestructible. And it's like, it's really well kept together. So it just goes to show how useful these are. All right, so the next tool is the Knipex pliers. Now, everybody always talks about Knipex pliers, but I want to talk about why I personally use Knipex pliers over, I would say, like a multi-tool. And you notice that I don't actually have multi-tools in this video that I'm talking about, and it's for a particular reason. So I'll kind of explain to you on why I think that. So these, something like a Leatherman curl is extremely valuable if you're in a situation like, let's say you're a tradesman or construction or whatever, where you don't know what's going to happen. Like, not at any given moment, it could be any sort of problem. Like, you know, you have to go and open up boxes. You have to get some screws to unscrew some things. You have to go and get something to cut something down. Like, you need to get something done, and you can only bring one tool with you and not one pouch that has individual things. It's better to get something like a multi-tool, because this one big thing does everything you need to do on one shot. But you'll notice in my tool, like, I have them individually, like, and it's because for me, problems don't happen all the time for me. They happen every now and then. So, I'd rather get the tools individually. So like, and most of the time I know what needs to be done because I see the problem there, and then I fix that one or two problems. Versus, I would say, if you're in construction, you need something like this where you don't know what the problem is. There's a lot of other things that can happen anytime throughout the day. Then you're better off carrying, honestly, like a Leatherman curl or a Leatherman wave, and you would carry this like in general, right? So, but to kind of elaborate, let me explain to you. As an example, with a Leatherman curl, you can use a bit driver and attach it to the end. But this is very awkward and not very ergonomic. I'd rather get a tool like this, which is a far more effective tool. It has a ratchet, it's far more powerful, and it's ergonomic. And that's the first thing. Or second of all, pliers. The pound for pound, these are better than this. There's no contest, in my opinion. Like, I know everyone has different opinions. I'll take, if I had only had one plier and I could choose between this and this, I'll go with this. The only reason why this has value is because of wire cutters. I don't cut wires. I only care about pliers. And then third of all, the knife, right? All Leathermans come with a knife. Well, the knife is not going to be as good as a dedicated knife that has better steel, better ergonomics, better everything. I'd rather have something like this than something that's really clunky. So it's better to get the things individually. And that's why I personally chose to just go Knipex, because it's individually better than and it works for my toolkit for what I need. All right, and so in the last of my kit, it's a PVC card with zip ties with duct tape around it. The other thing I want to mention is a slice knife, and I was hesitant to mention this because this is more for me, but I use this on everything that I cut. And yes, there's redundancy, but I do want to mention something. So sometimes there's redundancy and there's what's faster. So when you use a knife, you bring it out of your pocket, you do the little flip thing, then you got to do this and you got to lock it. This is just boom, cut, done, right? And this is actually really, really sharp. Like, this is actually the one I use all the time. I have like 7 of these throughout the house. These are so good. I definitely recommend this. This is a slice knife. The next thing I want to talk about are something I couldn't bring and I really wanted to bring, but I can't bring. And they are Olfa scissors. Olfa scissors, in my opinion, are some of the best scissors. I use these all the time. but I can't bring this in this pouch. So it's an honorable mention. Another honorable mention I want to mention is Paracord. I don't use Paracord like other people. So I think other people, they really love Paracord. You might like it. I don't. So this is not in my pouch because I don't really feel the need to use it all the time. I use this more than that. Another honorable mention is so a Bic Lighter. So I know this is a huge point of contention, but I never really felt the need to have it in my everyday pouch, right? So what I do is I have this in my survival kits and in my 72 hour to go kits, but I don't have this in my full kit. And it's one of those things where like when it's taking up a slot, and I'd rather have something else in the slot. You know what I mean? It's kind of got Resident Evil game, like like, you know, like I'd rather have something else instead. But if I ever need to get it, I just go in my car or my house or whatever. So there's that. Another honorable mention are, and I kind of alluded to this in a few videos, Prybars. I mean, Prybars, in my opinion, they look really sick. And I like Prybars, but I just realized I don't think I need to have them. Like, and you know, they take up a slot. You know, it's kind of like the Resident Evil game. It's like it's taking up a slot, and now I can't put something else in its place. So I'd rather just not opt with a Prybar and use something else. Another thing I want to mention too is another honorable mention is Rite in the Rain notebook. So as I mentioned, my pen is modified. It doesn't use Rite in the Rain. It's a totally different pen. And people will be like, why do you do that? Because I just like gel pens. Like I like gel pens. And so I just prefer, like, the problem is when you have a notebook like this, it limits the pens you can use. And I have so many pens that can't work with this notebook. So what I use instead is Rhodia notebooks, which actually will take all sorts of paper. I mean, all sorts of pens. Another honorable mention I want to say, or not an honorable mention, but I think it's just a cool thing too that I always have, but I don't know if everybody else wants it, is I use hairbands for actually putting together cables, you know, because I think usually people use something like this, right? But I think this is actually slower because you go step 1, then you got to roll it around like step 2, and you got to roll it around, and then like that's then. And but then this gets like, you know, like then you got to like go like this, and it feels slower versus like with a hair tie. I'm talking like a girl hair tie. You just go step 1, step 2, and you're done. You know what I mean? If I needed it gone, it's gone. You know, I don't no twirling needed. It just saves so much steps. Again, step 1, step 2, and you're done. Versus like if I used what most people use, which is this, you're gonna go. You know, it's more like, okay, well, shit, I gotta just go like this, and then step. You know, I'm acting like those infomercials, but like you get the point. You got to go like, okay, now I'm done. And then when I want to take it out, then you know you got to do this shit. Like you just like forget it. Just use a hairband. Just go step 1, you know, step 2, and you are done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's everything. So, you guys have a great day. Okay, all right, bye.